This is the first winter we've had living in the woods. I love how still and gentle everything feels this time of the year. It is as if the natural world is inviting us all to go with more gentleness, a time for self-reflection.
¡Ay!
¿Qué acaba de pasar? Te acaba de tropezar.
Digo, ¿qué acaba de pasar?
Acabas de agarrar el selfie stick y voltear la cámara al revés para tomar una selfie.
Ay, ay, ay.
Boomer Caro.
I love to start my day before the sun rises. It's a time for being in silence and doing those practices that inspire me. I've come to realize that when I stopped smoking cannabis years ago, I kind of parted ways on bad terms with this sacred plant that taught me so much. This made me realize I also had a broken relationship with the act of smoking since parting ways with cannabis. It's been a time of reconciliation for me, and ever since last year, smoking flowers has become such a beautiful practice for me. Sometimes I work with blue lotus, calendula, and rose, other times with lotus alone, and others with a mix of other herbs like skullcap, mugwort, and damiana. Preparing my own medicine tools feels very special as it's a time to put intentions while making the smokes. I've been making advances on my painting about the eukaryotic domain. I finished working on the mangoliid clade. I believe I took a long time to finish this part of the painting as I was rusty, and it is the first section I've worked on since putting this painting on pause back in 2020. When starting a new painting or coming back to a painting I haven't worked on for a long time, I tend to get and feel very rusty. But even though I may feel nervous or very slow at first, I feel this is the butterflies in the stomach moment. And once I overcome that first moment of uncertainty, then everything starts to flow. Overcoming that first moment of nervousness is key in order to find the magic awaiting me on the other side. As you may remember from my February vlog, I recently finished this round painting on fruits, mushrooms, and women. I finally scanned it and got to do all the black outlines digitally. I usually do all my black outlines by hand, but as this painting is quite small and I made lots of details on it, I thought I would do the outline digitally, as I can choose a thinner width than the one I'd be able to add by hand. I already use a 0.1 pen in order to draw, and this would still be too thick and would cover lots of details I painted. I have learned to enjoy doing artwork digitally, and even though it will never replace painting by hand for me, it is still such a fun tool to use. Before we continue with today's vlog, I just wanted to say thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Squarespace is the virtual home of my website, my art shop, my email campaigns, and my art portfolio since 2018, and I couldn't recommend them enough. Some of the features from Squarespace which I've been currently loving are the password-protected websites where I can showcase and share specific artwork with my clients, and also their automatic image scaling, which lets me showcase my artwork in any device that people see my website with the best resolution and the best capabilities. If you want to learn more, you can use the first link on this video's description. And once you're ready to launch, you can use the code Caro Arevalo to get 10% of your first purchase of a website or domain with them. And now let's go back to our blog. Today I did the second print proof for Bailando con las plantas y los hongos. I did this one earlier, a couple days ago, but this one turned a little too magenta. I'm not sure if the camera actually, yeah, you can see the difference. So this one is definitely the right colors, and I want to offer this one as a print on this size, which is pretty much 13 by 13, but I will also be ordering a couple of print proofs because I love this one a lot and I want to make it larger as well, maybe like 20 by 20 or something like that. So I'll be ordering a couple of tryouts to see, you know, how good it looks a little bigger and if the colors are right, and after that I'll be offering the prints. This winter, I've learned how to paint at night. During my more than 15 years of painting practice, I've never painted at night, as I am a lover of painting with the sun on my paper and the sun on my face. But this winter has taught me how to embrace painting both in gloomy days and in the evening as well. This was my first time working on tree barks, and I really enjoyed it a lot. I am also now inspired to try painting more lichen and seeds as well as barks. I love how working on studies of one thing can inspire us to later start working on other parts of a plant, a mushroom, or even other types of living beings. I think it is a matter of letting our curiosity light our way. I get inspired by a detail within a plant, and later that awakens my curiosity to make more research on other living beings. We've had this plant for the past 3 years, and it used to be very big. With time, I feel that the roots just got too much water and they rotten, and the plant was, not surviving, and I was about to give up on it maybe like a year ago. And then my partner was like, you know what, why don't we really try and make it live? So we took it out, we tried drying the roots that you do with newspaper and whatnot, and then replanted it in a bigger pot, and used this beautiful organic soil and did all the things and gave it so much extra love. But at the end of the day, it is now finally time to compost it and let it go, because it's just not going to thrive any longer. And there's so many reasons why I love to tend to my plants. One of them is because I feel there's just so much metaphor on how some of them thrive, how some of them need some extra love. And for me, that speaks a lot about the parts of myself that need extra love, and the parts of myself that are, ever growing and do it all simply and flowy, and the others that need more attention. And I feel it's also a beautiful metaphor to our relationship with others. And, not all of my plants are dead, like this one or this one. These are the only two. And I've tried to just keep them alive for years. The other ones are thriving and they're amazing, but it's, I feel that I want to start giving way more presence and way more time to days like these, where I'm just paying attention to my plant friends. It's so easy to come back to these nourishing routines that are not only serving me, but other literal living beings like the plants. This one is screaming, I need a bigger pot. Oh my God, please give me a bigger pot. There's no more room for roots anywhere. When we lived in Brooklyn, we had over 150 plants. I love taking care of plants and having them in my space. Since moving, I haven't really gotten a lot of new plants, as I wanted to start slowly. Most of the ones we have were gifts from friends or brands, and once the weather is a little nicer, I can't wait to really take time to go looking for more plants to take care of. This is also our first time having a lawn, and we want to turn it into a garden. I already have all my seeds, and we will soon start working on the planter boxes for the outside. I truly cannot wait for this new adventure and to share it with you all. These are January patron rewards. These are my January rewards for Patreon, and I'm so excited for them. I really wanted to share them with you. This is the first time that I'm doing a full color back for the postcards. I used some of the allies and amulets that you'll see on the front. And as these are the first rewards for 2023, I wanted to put together a group of tools and amulets that can be of service and that I wish everyone on Patreon and everyone watching this video to carry throughout the year. So let me share a bit about them with you. First, we have the monarch butterfly to remind us about the transformation and to learn how to see from a higher perspective. The metamorphosis that butterflies go through is a very harsh one, and it always reminds me to be patient and work through the darkness whenever it is here, because brighter, more beautiful days will come. A feather, also in the sense of I feel sometimes we can get very caught up in the details, and getting wings and flying is always a beautiful reminder for us to learn how to see reality from a higher perspective and pretty much detached from the drama within. We also have these journal. May I keep expanding. May we live in love. To give ourselves time to connect with ourselves, to bring clarity to what we're thinking, and also a space to be grateful and present. And then we have the third eye of wisdom, the eye that sees the truth, the eye that sees the soul. Down here we have rue. Rue is a medicinal plant, and in Peru we see as a good fortune flower. To remember, we all carry the fire within. Sometimes this fire may be diminished and small, like a little amber, but we can always tend to it and make it become a gigantic fire that becomes inspiring and contagious for others to always remember that we all carry the fire from within. Towards the here. La dislexia. Then we have a palette and watercolors and brushes, art supplies to have a connection with our inner creative being, to always have a connection to our non-verbal way of expressing. And lastly, we have a group of oyster mushrooms. As you know, oyster mushrooms grow all over the world. They can be grown inside, indoors, but they also grow in nature, and they are used for eating. They are also used in order to make eco-friendly bricks and a lot of other things. Also, some of us may be familiar with the mycelium network, which is this gigantic network that connects not only mushrooms, but a lot of other living beings underground. And for me, this is a reminder of how we're all at the end of the day connected, being one huge organism divided in 1,000, but all one at the end of the day. So this is the postcard. That was a very lengthy explanation. And around all these allies, I included some seeds, as well as some dissections of flowers. This time around, instead of adding stars, I usually add little speckles of stars around my art. I thought it would be fun to go into the microscopic world and try something different, which are also featured here. And for our sticker, we have a very special one. It's a prayer that I wanted to share. And it says, "May I deepen my connection to my inner guidance." It's two hands holding a cup, and this cup is a mandala with a third eye of wisdom, as well as some, sacred geometry shapes, as a reminder that we can always go within and remember that the medicine lies within ourselves. We don't need any external, thing. Everything is a tool to remind us how to come back to the simplicity of love within our hearts. But those are the monthly stickers. And I love this combo. I feel it's a let's start the year positive and fresh combo. And I cannot wait for my patrons to get them. It is snowing today, and I will be doing my second tryout to go outside with a microscope. The first time it didn't work because I was looking at snowflakes that had been on the ground for a while. This time around, I'm coming out with a scope while the snow is coming down, so my objective is to see some snowflakes as soon as they land. I feel that way maybe I'll get the snowflake shape. And if not, I've already seen that there's some videos online that I can learn how to collect the snowflake shape as soon as it lands or before it lands. But I need to buy some stuff in order to do that. So today I'll be experimenting a little. Hopefully I'll still be able to see some snowflakes. Today I did my last trial of trying to observe snowflakes under the microscope. I have a bunch of new microscopic slides. I usually use these for my dissecting microscope, but what I will be doing today is something that I learned watching YouTube videos. So they suggest grabbing a new microscopic slide, leaving it outdoors so it's super cold, and also getting transparent nail polish and leaving it outside as well. Then while it is snowing, you would put nail polish within the new microscopic slide, bring it outside, and let the snowflakes fall directly into the still wet nail polish. And in this way, the snowflake can imprint the nail polish, and later in time you can have a permanent slide with the imprint of the snowflakes. And I did 3 of them. From the 3 that I made, only 1 has actual snowflakes. The other ones only have circles, which still looks fun. But in one slide I have 2 snowflakes and they look amazing. And I did leave my slides and the nail polish outdoors for a very little time. So next time that it snows, I'll know to leave it for longer. And I feel this was a great trial. Now that I know that this is the way that it works, I'm sure that whenever I try it more and more, it will, be easier to catch snowflakes. And I'm so excited for these. I'm not planning on painting snowflakes. This was just like a fun experiment to have. That is everything for today's vlog. Thank you for keeping me company on this video. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you like what you see here. And you can also check out my art shop, my Patreon, and I also post on Instagram and TikTok. Thanks again, Squarespace, for sponsoring today's video, and thank you for watching. I wish you a beautiful rest of your day.